Welcome to the eCommerce Queen Boss podcast by So Here On Air, where you get every week clarity with your marketing strategy and alignment to build a thriving online business. Your host, So Here, is an expert in experience marketing and consumer psychology. She worked with clients ranging from startups to multi-million-dollar online businesses. The eCommerce Queen Boss podcast is for the woman on a mission to build her own empire. And it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
So today I have the pleasure to have the awesome Krissy Ferreira as a guest for this episode. So if you haven't heard about her yet, Krissy is a mindset and business success coach for women entrepreneurs. And if you feel stuck, craving balance and tired of the constant self-doubt, she will empower you to level up your confidence, take action, and to feel fearless, limitless in your business. Hello, Krissy.
Hi.
How are you?
I am awesome. I'm so excited to do this here with you today.
It's so nice to finally have you. We've been trying to have this conversation for so long, but yeah, can you give us like a quick run through your background and what led you to become a life coach?
Whew. To do it quickly is tough because it's crazy how this kind of stuff just kind of falls into your life. So to kind of give you a quick background, I am a psych major. I went to school for psychology. I worked retail for most of my life. I even worked at Walmart at one point in my life. And I became a life coach. I launched the business back in October of 2017. It kind of just fell into my lap. I've always kind of had a passion for business and always did on the side. I was like your stereotypical person who would start a multi-level marketing company, quit, start another multi-level marketing company, quit. And then last year, I actually launched my business, Glowing Goddess Company. It's a women empowerment line. And I launched that of April of 2017. And that just like skyrocketed. It went so amazing. And over the summer of 2017, I had a lot of people reaching out to me, asking me like, oh my God, like, how did you launch this clothing business? You're doing so well. I love what you do. I really want to launch my own business. How did you do it? So for me, it was really effortless to do something, because I really enjoyed doing the clothing line. Every single like shirt that I did, because it's mostly graphic t-shirts, was meant to empower women in a different way, and even little girls, because we had a mini goddess collection. And for me, it was like effortless because I loved doing it. So I started helping women like launch their own businesses. And I helped, I think, about 3 to 4 women actually start from the bottom and actually grow their businesses. And most of those women are still growing their businesses and they're doing pretty well. So then around September, one of my friends was actually a life coach, and she was telling me, she's like, Christina, you're giving away all this business advice for free. She's like, you should like literally create courses on how to start your business. You should be coaching these women. You should be charging these women for your services because you're helping them grow like money-making businesses. And at the time I was like, I don't know. I wasn't really sure about life coaching. I had saw people doing life coaching. And for me, it wasn't something I was super interested in. But I liked a challenge. So she created a course designed for me, and I took it. And it was literally like the basics of coaching. And I was extremely excited about it. And I realized that my clothing business was going to take me a really long time to grow. And I was also working full time at the time. I was a behavior therapist working with children who have autism. And to balance my business of the clothing business on the side, I knew it was going to take me a very, very long time because the clothing industry is not an easy industry to be in. So coaching is something that I felt actually could take me to a place where I could potentially leave my job. So fast forward to now, I am a mindset coach. And what kind of led me to that place is a lot of people that want to grow their businesses, I feel like they get stuck and they run into different blocks in their life. Mm-hmm. And working on the mindset is the number one piece into growing your business, because if you truly believe that you can do something, if you truly kind of get over and some of the things we're going to talk about today, if you truly kind of get over like the self-doubt and, the blocks in confidence, that's when you can really learn to grow your business. So long story short, again, because you said do it quickly, and here I am rambling. I actually left my job last week as a behavior therapist to pursue my coaching business full time. So it's been a crazy journey. It's really hard to explain it really fast. So that's like what I've done in a nutshell. But that's what I do. That's where I am today. And that's kind of how I became a life coach.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for this introduction. So, as you mentioned, many female entrepreneurs out there struggle with self-confidence and,
Yeah.
to really go after their dreams or their business goals or even their life goals. Can you give us some tips to overcome these type of struggles?
So it's obviously different for every person and every client that I've worked with when it comes to their confidence in their business. They experience these feelings for different reasons. So probably one of the number one things that people come to me for when it comes to confidence is showing up online. So I work with primarily online business owners. Um, Everyone knows, Facebook Lives, a lot of people go on Facebook Live, right? But a lot of people are afraid to hop on a live because they don't have the confidence to really show up and talk and be confident in what it is that they do or what they teach. So one of the biggest pieces of advice that I have for people who are not confident to either go live or to even hop on like a sales call with someone is you need to be confident in what it is that you do before you can start sharing it with other people. So if you have an offer to share and you're feeling scared to offer it with other people, you really need to sit down and reflect on why is it that why am I afraid to share this? Am I afraid that someone's going to say no? Why am I afraid someone's going to say no? Am I afraid that someone's not going to like it? Why do you have that fear of someone not liking it? So really reflecting on what it is that you do, why it is that you're afraid, and really owning what it is that you do. So that's like number one. When you can learn to own what you do and understand that you are the best at what you do, then when someone doesn't like what you do or when someone says no to a sale, you can kind of brush it off of your shoulder because you know that their opinion of your stuff does not matter. Your own opinion matters most. And there's going to be other people who love your work and want to work with you and want to watch you. So other people's opinions don't always matter. It's what you think about yourself.
Yeah, totally. I get it. I totally get it. What would you say to people or to women especially, because I feel this is an issue that women especially struggle with, is to say, yeah, I can do that, but there are others who are already doing it. What would I, or what can I have that will make people come to me instead?
So I literally had this conversation with a client this morning. It's like, what's going to set me apart from everybody online, basically? What makes you your own person? Especially from coming from a life coach standpoint, there are thousands and thousands of coaches online. So why is someone going to approach me and why is someone going to talk to me? Why are you doing this interview with me rather than some other coach online, right?
Yeah.
And the honest truth is you have to not be afraid to be yourself. We're so busy watching and following other people online that we try so hard to do the things that they're doing that we forget to be our own unique person. And that actually kind of brings confidence back into the piece. It's like, well, what if I'm not able to make the sale like somebody else? What if I'm not able to get all these viewers like somebody else? We have to block the other people and just focus on what we're doing. Because if you're so busy trying to be like someone else, people are going to pick up on that. You're going to start talking like someone else. You're going to start writing like someone else. You have to learn to be your own person and understand that, yeah, there are other competitors, but that's every business, even like off the online world. Like how many sneaker companies are there out there? Is Reebok and Nike caring about how many sales Nikes get? Well, they probably are, but that doesn't stop them from growing their business. You know what I mean? So you have to own who you are as an individual, and you have to stop worrying about how many likes you have versus somebody else, how many viewers you have versus somebody else. Because none of that really matters if you kind of stand in your own place and really learn to appreciate what makes you amazing as your own person.
Yes, I totally get that. And speaking of what the last thing you just said, and you mentioned before, like how can someone just learn to accept who they are or, own who they are?
So learning to accept and learn to own who you are. I mean, that comes with self-development, right? Like personal development. I read a lot. And I enjoy reading, and I do a lot of like personal development and really learning to like appreciate the person that I am through reading. I think a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflection. Sorry, my dogs are barking if you guys can hear them. I have a little Dotson. He's a little pain in the butt. Let me shut this real quick. So I think the personal development is number one because you have to be confident in yourself, right? Learning to really like love the person that you are. And I'm sure we've all heard people talk about self-love, but a lot of times I'll tell people, like a lot of people that struggle with self-love or confidence, I'll literally have them write down lists of things that they love about their personality.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily just like the person they see in the mirror. I think a lot of women think about self-love from a physical standpoint and not so much from an internal standpoint. So when you learn to actually appreciate and own the things that you love about yourself, that's when I think that you can kind of come into your own presence online and not really care about like other people. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. All right. And in terms of self-confidence, how would you say that it's holding most of women and female entrepreneurs back in their business and going after their goals?
So I feel like confidence is literally the thing that gets in everyone's way when it comes to like a launch online, you know, launching a new product. I literally have debated on whether or not to become a confidence coach in the past because confidence comes up in every single conversation that I have with people. I truly believe that confidence is the key to success, because if you are confident in everything that it is that you share, then you will do well with everything it is that you share, because you're not going to hold yourself back from fully like letting it out. You are literally you are literally going to do everything in your power to make it happen, because there is no doubt in your mind that it's going to do well. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like literally,
yeah.
like if there's a product that you want to launch and you're not feeling 100% confident on what people are going to think about it, or you're not going to be confident and that's not good enough, then when you share about it, your whole heart's not going to be in it, because there's a part of you that has a little bit of doubt there, right? So if you're 100% confident when you launch it, there's no doubt, and you're going to go full force when you try to sell it.
Yeah, totally. Looks like your dog in the background is agreeing with you.
He's losing his mind over here.
All right. And what's in the pipeline in your business?
What is my plan?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's funny. I just left my full-time business on Friday, which is crazy. So thank you so much. It has been amazing leaving. I've had so much support. It's crazy because that was a huge goal for a really long time. So to even think about the future, like now at this point, just feels completely limitless, because that was something that I never thought would happen before. I never really thought that I would be able to leave my full-time job and actually pursue my business full-time. So now that I've actually gotten there to think about the future, I'm thinking of so much. I'm thinking of growing like a team. You know, I want to be able to do more retreats and actually meet more of my clients face to face. I want to throw more seminars. I have so many courses that are going to be coming out this year that I literally didn't have time to launch before. So to give you an exact plan, I can't, because it's so limitless in my mind. But there's so much to come in the future. So much to come.
Awesome. Fantastic. That's congratulations again for leaving your job. And I know that a lot of women listening would be also in this situation where they're still in their 9 to 5 and trying to grow their e-commerce business. I've recently did it a few months ago, leaving my 9 to 5 for full time, and you just did it. So what advice would you give to those women so they can actually jump in and leave their 9 to 5 and have the confidence to go after growing their business?
So one of the reasons that I didn't think it was ever possible was because I was never really working towards it, right? I always set like this crazy goal in my mind where I had to be making a certain amount and be in a certain place in my life in order for it to make it happen. So I literally told my business coach in December, so it was about 6 months ago, that I wanted to pursue my business full time. When I said it, it was kind of a joke because I didn't think it would actually happen, because the income goal that I set for myself, not that it was unrealistic, but I was literally setting myself up for failure like ahead of time. And I wasn't really like trying to create a plan to make it happen. It was just like, oh, well, maybe one day, right? When you get stuck in maybe, nothing happens.
Oh, yeah.
So about 3 months ago, my husband asked me, he goes, you know, what's your goal for your business? And that was the worst thing for him to ask me, because I went on this rant for like a half an hour to an hour telling him all of my dreams about my business. And I know women listening to this can relate when your husband finally asks you, or your spouse asks you a question about what your dreams are for your business. Oh my God, he like opened up the gates to like everything. But he asked me, and then after we talked about it, I was like, I need to leave my job because there's so much I want to do that I feel so limited in. and me working my full-time job alongside this business, I can't put my 100% best into it,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, so why don't you leave? So as crazy as it sounds, we came up like with a really big plan, and we actually saved a bunch of money. And I kind of put into place like how many clients I needed. Like I really set my goal a lot smaller than original. And I gained the clients that I needed in order to leave, and I put the money aside, and then I just put my notice in. I put a 30-day notice in, and I left. My biggest piece of advice for women is or for anyone listening to this that want to pursue their business full time, is if you really want it, then you need to start working on the plan now. And you have to believe that it can actually happen, because if you think that it might happen, then it's probably not going to happen. You actually need to set a plan, a realistic plan, write it down, what exactly you need to do by when to get it done. Because if I didn't do that, I'd still be in my full-time job, because I wouldn't have taken any action to make it happen. So that's really like my biggest piece of advice. And I understand like what it's like to have bills and a mortgage and a family to have to support. I get it. I'm not one of those people who could just up and quit my job. And it used to aggravate me when people would just say, just quit. Why are you waiting? What's holding you back? It's like, well, I have bills to pay, right? So like, so I get that. So like coming up with a realistic plan that works for you in order to leave is a must.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree with that. And last question that I asked to all of my guests in here, what do you want to be remembered for?
Women empowerment. It is literally everything that has to do with my business, with my clothing business, with my coaching business. I want to empower women to understand that it does not matter what type of life you were given. You can achieve anything that your heart desires if you're willing to work for it. So I empower women to chase their dreams. I don't care what your background is. I don't care what situations you've been through. You can overcome anything if you're willing to fight for it. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Very good. I love that. And I actually have another question, because you also have that clothing business. What would you say works best in this clothing business so far that you could give as tips, extra tips for the people listening?
So what works best as far as like making sales?
Yes.
So I think that having other people in your network constantly sharing your stuff too. So like sometimes when you're a one-man show, it's really hard. But when you get other people involved, like encouraging your clients or your customers to share about the products, doing some giveaways, giving incentives for people to share about your products online, even like on social media, like hashtags, including them in like different different stories, maybe saying something really sweet. Like I did this one photo shoot with this one woman who had her leg amputated, and we did a whole photo shoot around her wearing a couple of my clothing items, and that empowered a lot of people. So like my photos and my clothing, not only like they represent what my branding stands for, right? So for you to create something emotional, something that people can remember your product by. So when they think about something, they think about your product. That's what you want to create. Because if you think about any other brands out there, when you think about certain things, a certain brand comes to your mind, right? When you hear certain words, that's what you want to create.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Definitely agree with all that. Krissy, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for sharing all those precious advices with us. Do you want to say anything before we wrap up?
My biggest piece of advice to you guys is, if anything like really triggered you today, really reflect on why it triggered you, whether it was in a good way or a bad way, whether it was about confidence, self-doubt, growing your products online. Anytime you start feeling a certain way about what somebody says, really reflect on what that says about you and why you're feeling that way. That's my last piece of advice.
Awesome. And where can we find you?
I do have a website, KrissyFerreira.com. That is where I do my clothing, my coaching business. I also have glowinggoddessco.com. Literally how it sounds, glowinggoddessco.com. That's where I sell my clothing line. You can also find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Coach Krissy Ferreira, or you can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/XO Krissy Ferreira. So if you want to contact me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again. And until the next time, have an amazing day.
You too. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And so you have it. That was my awesome interview with Krissy Ferreira. Bear in mind that all the links that we provided during this episode would be available in the description. If you love this type of conversations just as much as I do, please do let me know inside of my Facebook group, the eCommerce Queen Boss Society, and I will do my best to have those of my guests during the podcast come up during a Facebook live session inside of the group, so you can ask them directly your burning questions. It's all happening inside of my Facebook group. Until the next time, have a beautiful day.